ASAP is a free support program, so it doesn't cost you any money. And some of you may be eligible for the program. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that the program does, its requirements, and all the good things that are associated with the ASAP program. As mentioned before, it's a free support program. It's funded by good old taxpayer money, so it doesn't cost you anything if you wish to participate. There are really two big benefits, and that would be the financial side, and then there is the advisor side. So as far as financial benefits, there are a couple big things here. The program does give you a stipend to pay for your textbooks. Every semester, students receive $365 to use at the bookstore. This past semester, so the semester we're in now, students, because we were remote, were given access to purchase textbooks through the online bookstore, through the LaGuardia's online bookstore, and they would receive the credit of $365. Obviously, you can use it to buy textbooks, but they were able to allow students to buy some stationary items like notebooks and pens and stuff like that, and things that you would need in addition to your textbooks. So that was a huge bonus this go around. The other added benefit is also something called tuition gap waiver. So for those of you that apply for financial aid, some of you, based off your income, receive partial financial aid. LaGuardia's tuition for a New York City resident is $2,400 per semester, right? $2,600, $2,600 and $8. I'm saying that wrong, with all the fees, right? And there are instances that you may get partial financial aid, meaning that the financial aid you receive is less than the tuition, which would result in you having to, obviously, to pay a balance. In those cases, ASAP will cover the difference. So for example, if you receive $1,000 of financial aid, ASAP will cover the $1,600 difference. That's one of the added bonuses of the ASAP program. If you do get full financial aid and do not have to pay anything, that's great. You could still be part of the program as well. The program also supports you with Metro cards. I do have to confirm what is happening for the spring because we're still going remote and how the frequency of the Metro cards. But this past fall, students received two 30-day Metro cards. Of course, this is all part of being the program, and that was mailed to you to use. And this is not a Metro card that is limited in usage. It's a full 30-day unlimited Metro card that you would buy basically, but we just mail it to you. So for those of you that continue to need to go places and use the MTA, you can do so. It's not solely meant to use for educational purposes. So for those of you that need to commute to work, it is available for you to use to go to work or whatever it is that you would do. The second big benefit is that it's one of the few programs that will assign you a specific advisor. So if you applied for the program and you obviously wanted to get in a program, you'll be assigned a specific advisor. So if you were assigned to me, I would be your advisor for up to 3 years or 6 semesters. The role of the advisor is not just to help you with your classes. It's really more than that. It's kind of to serve as a mentor slash kind of like a coach to make sure that that you get all the support you need when you need it, basically. So LaGuardia is a big place, and having someone that you can directly contact oftentimes makes things a little bit easier. So you don't have to kind of Google people in LaGuardia or call like 5 different numbers. You usually your advisor can answer it or just direct you to the right person or just find out the answer for you. So that alleviates a lot of headaches for a lot of students. They also help you kind of if you're unsure of your major or you need that conversation where, hey, this major is not working out. You got to think about other things. All right. And that's their role, is to make sure that in the right program and you're getting the right support you need. It doesn't always have to be academic related. They do go over a lot of other support programs as well that sometimes you may not be aware of, that can help you, because LaGuardia has a lot of, and CUNY in general has a lot of free resources available to you that you may not be aware of, and the advisor can go over some of that for you, or at least direct you if you're not sure where to go. Now, like I said, the program is free. There are requirements to the program. It stands for ASAP, so it is accelerated, which means you do have to go full time to be in the program. So full time for ASAP is 15 credits every semester, 12 credits in session 1, and 3 credits in session 2 at the minimum. You can take more than that, but you can't go less than 15 basically, because the goal of the program is to graduate you within 2 years. You do have 3 years of eligibility should you need it, because obviously life happens and sometimes you need some extra time, or you change your major and you got to take some extra programmatic courses. Life happens. You might change your mind, all that stuff. The other requirement is, as far as entry, there are major restrictions. Many of the health science programs or patient care programs do not qualify. I'll just list them out. It's physical therapy assistant, occupational therapy assistant, the nursing program, veterinary technician, radiology. Hopefully I'm not missing any of them. And the one last thing that's not really related to the health programs is music recording tech. The reason why ASAP doesn't accept these programs is, for the health sciences, they have a secondary application process, which is competitive, and it doesn't guarantee admission into those programs. And ASAP as a program mandates that you complete your degree, or put forth effort towards your degree. So if you don't graduate, ASAP is not gonna, come after you or anything like that. Just let that be known, okay? ASAP is a free support program. It's for some of these programs like nursing or physical therapy, ASAP can support students if they're willing to swap into liberal arts, math, and science, if that's kind of what you wanted to do. We don't encourage you to change your major. We do encourage you to pursue programs that you're interested in. However, on occasion, sometimes students really could use the benefit. And then if you really would like the benefits, we have someone just have a conversation with you to see if it's a possibility to help you qualify for the ASAP program, possibly change your major. But that's something that we encourage you to, if you want to, just think about it, and then you can have a conversation with me at a later time. The other requirements with ASAP, and hopefully I'm not drowning on about the requirements. I do apologize. It's just they're very specific. So some of you may have already completed college credits. Sometimes you do need to have at least a 2.0 GPA for those of you that have taken a college course at some point in time. And as far as the tuition, it is only available for students that qualify for city tuition rates. So this is not available to international students. However, students that happen to be undocumented can still qualify for this program if they qualify for city tuition rates. If they fill out the residency form and submit that to LaGuardia, you can still receive the benefits of the ASAP program, with the exception of the tuition waiver, because that requires that you file for financial aid. All right. What else is there? As far as applying or how to apply, ASAP is accepting students for spring 2021. And what I'll do is I'm going to actually put my email on the chat so that you can all take it down. If you would like to learn more, obviously just reach out to me. Or if you just want to see if you're eligible and you're not sure, reach out to me. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put that over in the chat.
Can I just say something? Before we talk right on the chat, we can just like discuss like the questions now, or how does this work?
You can put your question in the chat now if you like, or if you have a question then you want to just ask it over your mic, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm in the CUNY Star program, and my advisor there, Mr. Ham, he's the one who told me about Danny for the ASAP. I applied for it about 2 weeks ago. I don't know how to go up. I don't understand too much about it from what you told me. Like I know that it's only a 2 year program, if I'm not mistaken. It's not for like getting your bachelor's or whatnot. So
Yes, that's a good point. ASAP is primarily for community colleges. It's available in most of the community colleges in the CUNY system. All right. However, it doesn't follow you. Let's just say you transition and graduate, and you enroll in Hunter or Queens College or stuff like 4-year schools for the most part. It does not follow you. That's one of the, I guess, the downsides, but it is free. So if I always encourage students just to take advantage of it and save as much money as you can upfront. But again, as of this point in time, it doesn't follow you beyond LaGuardia or beyond the community college.
thank you so much. That's all.
You're welcome. So I know you guys are writing some message in the chat. A few business is eligible, so much of it is eligible in ASAP. So for those of you that are pre-med, there's a lot of different tracks to get into med school. Obviously, we're talking about graduate school here. So if you are pre-med, obviously you can do liberal arts at LaGuardia or even biology if you want to go a very traditional route. And then graduate and then transition to any of the CUNY schools to do a health science kind of concentration, or even kind of stick with biology, or even do anything. But pre-med, there's no specific major for that. It's just really a set of courses you would take so that you can sit for the MCATs. And we can have a really, really long conversation about this. So, but pre-med, bio, liberal arts, that's all good to do. And but if you want to kind of hash it out, feel free to email me. We can set an appointment. I'll just have a conversation with you, or if it's multiple people, I could just host a Zoom chat if you want, and we could talk about different tracks with that. Special ed is computer science eligible. Any of the education programs as well, they are eligible as well with LaGuardia. So, some good questions here, some tough ones. Producing in TV and movies. We do have a media studies degree here that you can get involved in. There is a radio, well, I'm speaking as if we're going to be in person. I'm hoping that we will be in person at some point. There are resources for you on campus that can help you do that. There's a lot of faculty that have been in the business that they can connect you with. But there is a media studies degree, which is a very broad kind of strokes approach to it, because community college, just as far as degrees, generally speaking, gives you kind of like a sampling of some of these programs, and when you transition to a senior college, you'll get a more concentrated type of education within that. So don't worry about it. LaGuardia can kind of give you the right type of foundational type of degree and then help you transition.
Great, thank you, Danny, so much
Thank you.
for handling all that. Any other questions? I'll give everybody just a minute. If you have any other questions about ASAP, please write them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself.
I have a question. Does ASAP cover if you plan on doing remote online education?
As the only requirement is to go full time. So if courses are available that is remote, yeah, you'll still be eligible for the program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is ASAP does it help with like nursing?
Unfortunately, it does not help you or take in students that are planning to pursue the nursing program at LaGuardia. However, if you pursue liberal arts, math, and science and complete that degree, they can help you transition. No guarantees, obviously, transition to the 4-year the nursing programs available to you at Hunter and I believe at your college, which has a bachelor's degree in nursing. But you cannot be an ASAP and be in LaGuardia's nursing program.
Oh, okay, understood.
My question is, how do you know if someone's eligible to join ASAP? Like, whether
So generally speaking, and I don't want to bore you with the algorithms, but they usually let us know who's eligible, and then we do a mass invitation to participate in ASAP, right? Obviously, nothing is perfect, so that's why I usually give out my email address to folks so that I can check them individually. And basically, there's nothing specific. As long as you meet the requirements and you want to go full time, that's basically it. There's no like admission, like we don't interview, there's no like real interview. Like it's a support program. So if you want to take advantage of it, that's up to the student. So we don't, as long as you're eligible, you can be part of the program. But I usually and my counterpart Cassidy will review people on the individual basis. But as a whole, the school just does let us know who is potentially eligible, and we do that type of communication.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any last questions? I'm wondering, Danny, if it would be possible for you to share the written materials that the folder of documents about ASAP for spring 2021.
Share that for sure. I'll get that and I'll post it up.
Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi. I post a question in the chat, but just want to say it. How about if you want to do the early childhood education?
That is eligible as well. You could do
It
early
is.
childhood. Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I just put up a link to a Google Drive. We call it the new student packet. Basically, what we found was that there's a lot of information out there that is very difficult to get to. So we just kind of compiled a Google Drive for everybody. So that it has a lot of information on there. It does have information about ASAP, the flyer, what we do, but it also has a lot of information about financial aid because it's difficult to access financial aid because obviously remote. So there is a step-by-step instructions for those of you that are having difficulties applying for FAFSA and TAP. Also has a bunch of like links for you that you can use that we think it's useful for you as well. But again, use it's all free information. Use it if you would like to. If you miss something about ASAP, you could always look at that as well. But yeah, use that as a resource. It's all there.
Danny, it's asking request access to enter that chat.
Oh, it does? Okay, let me see. Maybe I gave the wrong link. Apologies. Apologies. Let me fix that.
No problem.
Did that fix it? I'm not sure. I don't know if that fixed it. No, that looks like the same one. Can you guys confirm if it works for me?
It works for me.
On me, it works. Yeah, it works
All
fine.
right,
It's
perfect. Thank
working.
you. All right, thank you.
For me.
Last annoying question. I'm so sorry. So, you guys you also are going to be our advisor if we join the ASAP, you yourself, right? And you'll also help us like figure out if we needed to do like scholarships or interns. You'd be the guy to go to, right?
Yeah, there's a separate, not separate. There's a internal career ASAP career specialist that can connect you with stuff. So there is a lot of information. So the advisors and the career side of house uses Microsoft Teams. So when you join ASAP and you are fully enrolled, they're going to eventually ask you to download a bunch of Microsoft applications. So hopefully, you do have a computer that you can use, because the preferred mode of communication is Microsoft Teams, where they have separate channels for stuff like that. So you guys can have some sort of organization with what they post, like there's a channel for something, there's a channel for career, there's a channel for like advising announcements. So they try to organize in that way, but yes, there is a side that will help you with that. They will message you directly, but also post it up in the kind of like the news feed on Microsoft Teams.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Danny.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, Danny. I'm sorry, Danny, but I had a question. My question is the in-document can study?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you undocumented students can still join ASAP. The only like requirement that would impact a undocumented student is really like you have to qualify for city tuition rates, meaning that you have to show that you've been living in New York City for the past year.
Mhm.
So you could still get the Metro cards, the textbooks, the advisor, all that stuff, but not the tuition. They cannot do anything with your tuition. Your advisor, if you are undocumented, will hopefully they will help you apply for the Jose Peralta New York City tuition assistance scholarship.
Mhm.
So they'll kind of guide you through that process as well. So they are trained in looking for scholarships that you may qualify for if you happen to be undocumented.
Okay, Danny, my question was because in my country, I went there for 1 year for nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about my question because I think maybe later I can continue with this study. Okay, Danny, thank you for helping me.
All right, you're welcome. Any questions, you can email me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much, Danny. And thank you to everybody for asking your questions. I think it really helps because a lot of times other students have the same questions, so it really helps to clarify for everybody. Donna, is that your hand up from before, or did you have another question?
No, that was my hand up from before, and I figured it out. I was signed on to the DOE website with my daughter's laptop. I had to go into my email and do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I think that we're going to transition now. I see that Julianne has joined us. Welcome, Julianne. So we've just finished talking about ASAP, and now we're going to hear from Julianne about College Discovery, which is another support program. And I'll let you introduce yourself, Julianne.
Thank you so much, Erin. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Julianne, and I direct the College Discovery Program at LaGuardia Community College. Similar to ASAP, College Discovery is an equal opportunity program that provides what we call holistic wraparound supports. And so similar to ASAP, we provide academic, instructional, as well as personal counseling support. And so students who participate in College Discovery are paired with a licensed mental health counselor. And all of our counselors are actually, they're trained in both personal counseling and in academic advising. And so students do get the benefit of both, or you get kind of the personal support as well as the academic advisement to ensure that you are making progress towards your degree. We also provide intentional academic support. So we have a resource center on campus that we share with ASAP that has College Discovery tutors that are designated just for College Discovery students. And of course, everything is free of charge. We also host what we call weekly study groups. So students who are taking similar courses are paired with a College Discovery tutor, and they meet weekly to go over what has taken place in class, ask any questions. You get the peer support as well as the support from the tutor. And then the third piece is the financial. And so all College Discovery students, as long as they are enrolled full-time, they receive a $300 cash stipend. And so that's on top of any financial aid that you might already be receiving just for enrolling in College Discovery. You get an additional $300 for you to use as needed for any of your college-related expenses. College Discovery has a very long history. And so it's actually one of the first student support programs in the country. It started over 50 years ago, and it's specifically for students who come from low-income households, who have high school equivalencies, or who have a below an 80% high school GPA. So we specifically serve students who fall within those criteria. So if you are thinking about College Discovery, there is like an eligibility process that students go through. But again, that's rooted from our history, and it's in the mission of equal opportunity programs within New York State. The other important piece is that College Discovery, as an equal opportunity program, is partnered with SEEK, which is an equal opportunity program at the senior colleges. So any colleges that offer a bachelor's degree, we call them senior colleges. I don't like to use the word 4-year because most students don't get their degrees within 4 years, including myself. So, so senior colleges, any college that offers a bachelor's degree, and students who graduate from LaGuardia are accepted to any of the CUNY senior colleges are admitted into SEEK, and those benefits follow you, okay? So even after you've completed your associate's degree at LaGuardia, if you choose to enroll in a SEEK program at CUNY, or even if you decide to go to a private school, there's equal opportunity programs at private schools in New York, you can transfer your benefits there. So one of the major benefits with College Discovery is that the resources don't stop once you graduate. And I tell this story all the time. When I was a community college student, I went to Kingsborough Community College. I was offered a seat in College Discovery, and I declined it because I thought at the time I didn't need College Discovery. I was like, no, I don't need it, and I declined it. And when I transferred to a senior college, and I did need the help, both academic and financial, I wasn't admitted into the equal opportunity program that the senior college had. So if you are thinking long-term, I always encourage students to consider College Discovery. And if it turns out you're not eligible, we work very closely with ASAP. Danny and I are in frequent communication. And so we are always, working together to ensure that students land in the program that is best fit for them. And so Danny likes to say that he always recommends students to start with College Discovery because we do have a stricter kind of eligibility process. And then if you're not admitted because of anything related to maybe your financial income or something with your GPA, we always refer back to ASAP. So I know that comes up often. Students often think about, well, these programs feel a little similar. How do I make a decision between the two? Really what it comes down to is your eligibility for College Discovery, the academic and the financial piece, but then also your long-term goals, okay? The other thing that I like to mention is that College Discovery does not have any requirements when it comes to majors. So we accept all majors. As long as you've been admitted to LaGuardia and you meet the financial and the academic criterias, any major you select, we will provide the support to you. Okay. So I think I'll stop there. So that way we have some time, for questions. Any questions or anything that I shared that you kind of want to learn more about?
I'm eager. Hi, I was waiting for you. I'm pretty sure you already know by Livia because I've been emailing Livia already. So you pretty much like, I'm the annoying one from Matstar. I just want to know when is the like latest that I can like I have no idea. Yeah, because everything's going on. If I get in or not, like.
Yeah. So right now, that's a great question. And you're not annoying. You are advocating for yourself.
Yeah,
and that is what you're supposed to do.
I know.
That is your job as a student. And I
Yeah.
was so happy to receive your emails. So
I was
never,
the one.
ever.
Yeah, thank you. I was the one.
Yes.
Livia, there's nothing else to do. She's like, oh, I don't think so. I'm like, can I write an essay, a letter, something?
Yes. I always advocate for yourself. Always. So do not, you're not annoying at all. That's our job, is to provide support. So what Juana is referencing is something that I should have mentioned. So College Discovery generally only enrolls in the fall. And the reason for that is our enrollment numbers, or how many seats we have available, is very limited. We are a much smaller program than ASAP. So we actually only enroll about 300 students a year. And usually we fill up all of those spots in the fall semester, and doesn't really leave us with room for additional students in the spring. However, we are trying to get some additional slots in for the spring semester. And so if there's anything that changes, I will absolutely communicate with Erin and with Ace. And Juana, I have your contact information. And so if there are, our hope is to actually know after the new year, whether or not we can open up some additional slots. It's really, I'm sure as many of you might be aware, there's just budgets are kind of tight at the city and the state levels right now. And so everything is kind of in limbo. But our hope is after the new year, we'll know if we can offer some additional spots for the spring semester.
It doesn't matter if I already have my financial approved everything, like for spring, for the like next year I already apply and like ahead of time. It doesn't really matter, or does that already have my financial aid?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That means you're on, you're ahead of the game. You've got your ducks in a row, and for the spring semester, this is really mostly on our end. It's mostly kind of like we need permission from the university because, as I mentioned, we offer cash stipends. It's all tied to budget. And are we going to have enough money in the spring to give out additional cash stipends? So that's the one thing we just want to ensure that we have clearance for before we can admit new students. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Just like kind of waiting. I don't want to sound like, just 1 year program, but it kind of is. But no offense, but yeah, it's I recently became aware of actually was at Q&A for Discovery because I was in the bridge program, and then they called me to do a remedial class, which is Matstar, which I'm doing now. And since it's remote, I decided to do that now. Oh, Matstar would be great. So I'm out of that.
Okay.
And then that's when Livia came in, and she told that I would be a great candidate because everything you offer.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. And I think I did see some questions. Yes, so students, like Danny said, students have to select one or the other. And once you've chosen one, then you can't change your mind. So that's one thing that's a great question. So it's really great that you get to hear from all of the programs that are available at LaGuardia. And then you can kind of think about what makes the most sense for you and what are your needs as you prepare for enrollment in the upcoming semester or two.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but how about if I don't get, like, just say like now Discovery is high and I decided, well, I can't get in, but I can't just be in the like limbo. Do I get in then to just go to ASF then or something like that, or what is it?
Yeah, so Danny can elaborate more, but I know they are enrolling for the spring, and I'm sure he'd be happy to speak with you more about your eligibility and some of your questions around ASAP. But they absolutely are enrolling for the spring.
I had a question on this discovery. I noticed that the ASAP is qualified for 2 years of your associate's degree, and I'm guessing discoveries for your bachelor's, like they go as far as bachelor's degree, so they can take care for 4 years.
Yeah, that's a great question. So College Discovery is just for your associates. And so once you earn your associates and you transfer to a senior college where you plan to earn a bachelor's, you would transfer into, depending on where you go, it would be either a SEEK program or an equal opportunity program or higher education equal opportunity program. There's different kind of names at the different colleges, but you would transfer those benefits. Those benefits also follow you to graduate school. And so we recently had a College Discovery alumni earn her PhD in social work at St. John's. And so she often comes back and talks with our students. So the benefits don't stop even at the senior college. You can bring them to graduate school and to the PhD level as well, the doctoral level.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And that's discovery. That's not ASAP, right?
Correct. Yes.
I have a quick question. I know I'm just trying to follow along with all the conversation. So correct me if I'm wrong. You could only qualify for one or the other, ASAP or the Discovery Program, or both?
So you could technically be eligible for both.
Okay.
Some of our criteria does overlap, but you would have to select one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions about either ASAP or CD, College Discovery?
My name is Sylvia Herrera. I have a question. To join the program, do we need a GD for that?
So yes, so for College Discovery, you do have to have been admitted to LaGuardia Community College as a degree seeking student. So that would mean earning your high school equivalency.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. And I'm gonna put our
Question as
email.
Cindy. I'm sorry. I'm going to follow the same question as Cindy. I was kind of confused when you say you can apply for ABSAT and for this College Discover, but then you have to choose only one. So you only decide to stay with ABSAT or with College Discover, right?
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of your question.
They ask you if you choose both of them, ASAP and College Discover. At the whatever day, you have to choose only one, right, to stay with.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So we have many students who will come to a College Discovery information session, then they'll go to an ASAP information session and kind of hear what both programs have to offer. And then they'll make a decision about which one aligns, with their own academic goals.
Let's discover. You said you only get it on the fall, and the most are 300 person, right? 300.
That's correct. Yes.
The space that you have, right?
Yes. We are a very small program. So the small size is good because our students get a lot of individualized attention. It's a tight-knit community. I know all of our students know me, and they're super close. But then the flip side is that we just don't have that many slots. We usually only have maybe about 50 to 75 new slots every fall semester.
The best month to apply.
I'm sorry, I have one last question. Sorry to be annoying, Shillian. What is the requirement? You say only 75. It depends on how soon you apply, or it depends on what exactly in order for you to kind of, get accepted, or what the requirement? Because, Danny said the requirements, and I just kind of want to know the requirements as well for that to get accepted.
Sure. So if we're talking about the fall semester where we do have additional seats available, the major requirements are one, that you've been admitted to LaGuardia for that upcoming semester. The second one is academic. And so the academic requirements are any student that has a high school equivalency, or any student that has a high school diploma, but their GPA would need to be below 80%. Okay, we're specifically designed for students who could really benefit from all of the additional academic supports that we provide. So those are the first two criterias. The third is financial. So we have to follow state guidelines regarding financial eligibility. And there's a whole chart that I can share with Erin that she can kind of just, share with the group that helps us decide. It's actually run through the financial aid office that helps them determine whether or not a student is financially eligible. But we do specifically serve students who come from low income households. And the eligibility is really based on your specific case, how many people live in your household. One of the things that has come up for us this year is that, for financial aid, you use taxes from 2 years prior, right? So maybe something has changed within the last year and your income in 2018 isn't what it was in 2020, right? Because of the pandemic. So we work with students on a case by case with the financial piece, and we have a financial aid liaison that supports us with that. And so if for any reason you apply, but you're not eligible, maybe because of financial, we would then refer you to ASAP and make that connection so you could explore that option. Yeah, so those are the three main ones. It's admission, your GPA or having a high school equivalency, and the financial piece.
Great, thank you so much, Julianne. Any other questions that come up, please feel free to write them in the chat. We're going to transition now toward the more academic side of tonight's presentation. So thank you again, Julianne and Danny. Everybody who is listening, please make sure you take down the contact information that was shared. I'm also going to send an email around to everybody tomorrow with those email addresses and any other materials that get shared tonight. So presenters, if you have anything that you want to share with me that you want disseminated to students, please just pass it along and I'll make sure it gets to them. So we're going to transition, as I said, into academics, and we're first going to hear from Phil Gimber of the Health Sciences Department. Phil, are you on with us? Hi.
Yay, I'm here. How are you?
Great. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Could you just start by maybe just introducing yourself and what you do at LaGuardia?
Sure. My name is Phil Gimber. I'm the chairperson of the Health Sciences Department. So I'm a professor originally. I teach nursing, so I am a nurse originally as well. So I've worked as a nurse many years. And but my job now really is just overseeing all the health science programs. So I guess I could just get into what they are. So we have I think a lot of people are probably interested in this one. The most I hear, nursing, and we have an LPN 2 RN, and a full RN program. And they're all done within the 2 years. I think somebody had asked, is the LPN covered in financial aid? And it is, as long as because they are college credits, although it doesn't equate to 60 credits, it's like 40 something credits, but those credits are covered with financial aid. And of course, it depends on the kind of, I'm not a financial aid expert, but I know those credits are covered if you do it in a full-time way.
How long do you have to be in the, like how much do they cover though with that?
Well, it depends, right? Again, I'm not an expert, but I know there's TAP and there's Pell. And depending on if you're full-time or part-time, they pay more if you're full-time versus part-time. Yeah.
And can I ask you a question? You could get that through the FAFSA?
Yeah. FAFSA is exactly where you go, and you go to the financial aid office and they would tell you exactly, because everybody's situation is different.
And how much is that course?
It's just college credit. Whatever the college credits are is what you would pay.
Oh.
So I think college tuition, what is it, $3,000-4,000 a year total?
And how much years it takes to get the license or degree?
The fastest you could do it is 6 months of prerequisites and 1 year of clinical.
Oh wow! So you could be done in a year?
You could be done if you have some credits, you could do it in a year. But if you need some of the prereqs, it would take you 1.5 years to maybe 2.
Oh, okay.
That's for LPN.
That's for LPN.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, LPN. Well, the good thing about LPN, some people said, well, what should I do if I can't get into the RN, or I don't think I can handle the RN right now? You could go to the LPN program. And the good thing, if you do it at LaGuardia, you're actually earning college credits. Like you have to take English 101, you have to take English 102, you have to take anatomy. And those same courses transfer to your RN program. And if you do the RN, eventually you actually, that first year you did it as an LPN counts as your first year as RN. So therefore you're getting your RN much faster if you just did it alone, if that makes sense. So what that means is you could work as an LPN for a year or two, make some money in between, and then get your RN. So that's a good option for a lot of people. So yeah, so and then that's why we said we have an LPN program, an LPN to RN, and then a full RN program. But you know, there is a competitive side. We also, and I'll get to that in 1 second. Let me just mention the other programs that are competitive. We also have a physical therapy assistant program, an occupational therapy assistant program, a radiologic technician program, and a veterinary technician program. And all these are licensed jobs which have good salaries. They all start like, you know, they're making all like $30, $40 an hour. And therefore, and because you could do these programs in 2 or 3 years, depending, right, full-time, part-time, and everybody, is very competitive. So when you take English and anatomy, those are the courses we count very heavily. They're called key courses. You want to really make sure you do well to be competitive. Like the lowest GPA we usually take in is a 3.5, because we always get more people applying than we have seats for. You know, if only 10 people applied, then yeah, the GPA could be low. But generally for like 60 seats, we'll get 150 applicants or something. So therefore, the only way we can rank them is by their grades. So when you take your courses, you really want to be careful that you get very good grades. Now, if you already have credits and you're like, you know what, I've already failed anatomy a few times, what am I going to do? Well, we have, you know, nursing at LaGuardia might not be the program because we average all your grades together. But we have other programs that aren't as competitive and that you can just take the course again. And the first one is public health. We have human services, and those 2 degrees is more like a psychological perspective. If you're looking for more of like a hands-on, we have therapeutic recreation, where there are jobs in nursing homes and hospitals where you would work in therapeutic recreation. If you get your bachelor's degree, it's actually a very good paying job. And believe it or not, the program that actually, if you're looking for the highest salary without it being too competitive, is the nutrition and culinary management option, where you would get certain certifications in nutrition and also in food management. And believe it or not, there's a huge demand for these jobs. Salaries are starting $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in the food fields. So that's another option to look at. And lastly, we have a degree. It's not really in health science, but it is related. It's in the business department. It is our business healthcare management degree. So if you found that maybe you might not want to work with patients, but you want to be in healthcare in general, you could do the business healthcare management and do billing. You could work like, you know, on office management in a physician's office, things like that. And then the last thing is, I heard some people might have been an RN in their country. So if you are an RN or nurse in your country, it's not through academics, but ACE has a program that does a NCLEX review through the, what is it called? The Welcome Back Center. And I actually teach in that program. And we teach you in about 6 months how to take the NCLEX and pass. Because I know a lot of people try if they're an RN and they don't always do it on their own, but this program is very intense. It's like 4 nights a week. And then I guess, you know, all of our programs, we're all certified, we're all accredited. We have very good pass rates, but we're actually very, very competitive because you could do it so fast. We're actually more competitive. Like if you heard the person speaking from ASAP, if you feel like you need to take your time a little and like, you know, feel it out how you're going to do in sciences, you might want to get like a degree in liberal arts and then go to a 4-year nursing program, because the 2-year method, it's really fast, it's intense. So some people asked, can I do this if I'm a parent? Can I do this if I have kids? You can. I've seen people do it. But it's really going to be, you got to be like on point. You know, if there is no excuses. So if you go to your nursing professor and say, oh, I couldn't make clinical because I didn't have a babysitter, your professor is going to say, well, you should have had 2 babysitters ready. They're very, very strict. They're very, very, because they're expecting you to work as a professional right upon graduating. And, you know, absences, lateness, all those things, they're very, very serious and tough on. So if you're like, if you have a great system, a support system, I say go for it. If you're kind of not sure, if you're just trying to struggle to get your kids taken care of already, I would say find maybe a path that could fit you better. And then somebody just asked, what did I say after public health? I said therapeutic recreation. And therapeutic recreation is, it's an up and coming field where you do therapy with patients, and it's not only with ill people, it's also to enhance people's health through recreation. So like if you've ever been to a nursing home and they do music therapy, they do exercise therapy, they do enhancement of life, that's therapeutic recreation. So that kind of covers my talk.
Thank you so much for you kind of encapsulated, I know, a lot of the questions we got from students ahead of the time. So thank you. And we'll take a few minutes now if there are additional questions about health sciences or nursing programs. Please put those in the chat or you can unmute yourself.
I have a question. So when you were talking about the LPN program to RN, what's the difference if you do the program LPN to RN and you don't continue further? What exactly is the difference?
Well, what you mean? What's the difference between an LPN and an RN?
Yeah, like the way you said, if you want to continue on.
Yeah, so you don't have to become an LPN to be an RN, but you can. So the RN is the person that you mostly think about a nurse. You know, they have a very high start, like people starting out making as a nurse make 80, 90,000 a year. Okay. So that's what people think. I want to be a nurse. That's where they're thinking. But it's very competitive. It's, you know, it's a very hard program. So what some people do is they feel they want to become an LPN first. An LPN is almost identical to an RN. There's just a little bit less responsibility. So like an LPN still gives medications. An LPN still, you know, does personal care. An LPN works in hospitals and nursing homes. They just can't be the charge nurse. They can't admit new patients. And because of that, the salary is lower, like by like $15, $20 less. So if an RN is making 45, the LPN is making maybe 30 an hour.
Okay.
So,
and how long is the RN for, like if you just decide to do RN? That's a 4-year, right?
No, it's a 2-year.
It's a 2-year as well.
If you look but look at it this way, that we're talking about when we say 2 years, that's the clinical part. But you have to get into the clinical part. So you have to have a few things done before. You have to have anatomy 1 and 2.
Okay.
You have to have chemistry, English, and psychology, which for some of you, some people take it all in one semester. However, if you've never taken a science class in your life, or if you've taken it in high school and you failed it 3 times, I would say spread it out and take your time doing it so you get better grades.
Okay.
Of course, you know, that might mess up your financial aid, but in the same sense, if you mess up your transcript with Fs because you took too many classes at once, that carries through with you for a long time. So it's a lot of things to balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So you wouldn't be able to take all of those classes with the LPN then?
The LPN doesn't require as many. It's so instead of like chemistry, they don't require chemistry. They require less prerequisites. Instead of taking statistics, you take medical dosages, like a little easier, a little lower level. But you have to pass anatomy 1 and 2. I see my anatomy professor friend here, Sultan Jenkins, who teaches that. And that is, I call the make it or break it class. If you could get to anatomy 1 and get a good grade, you'll be getting into a nursing program. But if you find that you're not making it through it, you know, that's where people kind of their dreams get messed up if they can't get through that class. So you want to really be on point when you take that class.
Any last questions?
Hi. I'd like to ask a question, please.
Okay.
You see me, you see where I am. That's what I want
You're
to
in
do.
a
I
dentist's
wanted
office,
to
I
do
think.
dentist.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. How about that? It's not easy?
We see, but don't make sure you don't put any patients on the camera there.
No. So I wanted to do medical assistance. Do you think it's possible?
Medical assisting.
Yes.
So I know we don't have a degree in medical assisting, but you could either do the business healthcare management option which is a degree, or you could go through ACE and they have a medical assisting program.
Where again?
Through ACE. I don't know if is anybody here from ACE. I don't work in ACE. I work in academics. Maybe Erin.
I do, but I'm not. I think you're thinking about maybe the certification programs in ACE, which I'm not an expert on, unfortunately.
Oh.
If I'm sorry, was that Gabina who was?
Yes.
Can you write
Gabina.
me an email if you have a question about one of those programs? I can get it to the person who does know.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
I think one last question that I have actually is if students here, are later tonight kind of thinking of something else that they forgot to ask, or they have something else on their mind, or maybe it's private, where should they reach out to? Who should they go to, or what channels of communication should they use?
Got you. We do have. I mean, of course, if you're not admitted to the college, you go through admissions, right? If you're in the college, we do have an email address, sci@lagcc.cuny.edu, and that would get you to one of our admins that answers all these kind of questions, and usually gets you to where you have to go. Like, because there's all. I mean, I could go into every detail, but you'll never remember it all. Like what your GPA should be. You have to take a certain exam at a certain time and apply for candidacy. It's so much complicated stuff to talk about in just a few minutes. But of course, we have the website, the health sciences website. If you go to LaGuardia and you just type in nursing, you'll find the program handbook, and it will tell you exactly every little detail how to apply and what it means. So.
Thank you. That's really helpful. All right. So if anybody has additional questions, you can type them out, put them in the chat. Okay. But we are going to now move on to our final presenter of this evening, who is going to speak on a related topic, but a different department at LaGuardia, which are the natural sciences, and that's Sultan Jenkins. Sultan, are you with us?
Yes, I am. How are you?
How are you? It's good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Could you, same thing, could you just introduce yourself and talk about what you do at LaGuardia?
Oh, of course. So my name is Dr. Sultan Jenkins. I'm an associate professor here at LaGuardia in the Natural Sciences Department. I've been here roughly 5-6 years. And I'm strictly a professor. Like, I don't do administration or anything like that. So I mainly teach classes. I teach biology courses. And as Dr. Gember mentioned earlier, I teach both A&P 1 and A&P 2 for the health science department. And in addition to teaching, I do, excuse me, in addition to teaching, I also do research on the campus. I'm a molecular geneticist by trade. And so, yeah, that's what I basically do here.
Excellent, thank you. So I think maybe one question, I'm going to hand it over to our students soon so they can ask their own question. But I think one question that I saw just had to do with what do we mean by the natural sciences? What does that encompass? What are the, the majors at LaGuardia and the disciplines that people might be involved in?
Okay. So basically in the natural sciences department, we basically cover biology, chemistry, and physics. We actually offer 4 associate degrees in biology, one in environmental science. We also offer one in chemistry and one in physics. So we basically cover those areas. So that's, that's basically what the natural science department basically covers. We have, right now, I think we have 38 full-time faculty. They all have PhDs. So, they're very qualified as far as teaching, and a lot of them do research as well. And what was the other question? I'm sorry.
That was it.
Oh, that was it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then another question that I had, so we talked about how the courses you teach intersect with people who are studying to be nurses, to move in healthcare. What are some of the other pathways that you see people taking who are interested in those subjects, biology and chemistry and anatomy, that might not necessarily be healthcare? Where else do people wind up going?
Of course. So, even, yes, I'm a scientist, and yeah, I'm gonna brag a little bit about science, but I'm going to speak honestly with you all. When you get a science degree, the skills that you acquire are highly transferable to a number of fields. So, I think somebody mentioned about going to dental school or nurse or med school. You can become a professor like myself. You can also just become a research scientist. Like the people now who are developing the vaccines for COVID-19. And eventually you can go work for the government or state, both federal and state government. I've known people who got degrees. I have a former classmate. He's a lawyer now. And so he basically talks about how having a science degree allowed him to do law school very, very easily, because we teach you critical thinking, being able to, get a problem and solve it critically. And so again, those skills that you learn, again, are highly transferable. And so, you can do just about anything, if you have a STEM degree. And so, it depends on what you want to do at the end of the day. Like I first started out when I was in undergrad wanting to be a doctor. And then I kind of realized, I don't want to deal with sick people. So I kind of diverged away from that. And then this went, strictly to this research. And then during the course of research, I found a passion for teaching. And so that's why, I'm here right now at LaGuardia, because I really love teaching, both the good and bad parts of it. But, I definitely love what I do. So in a nutshell, you can do a lot of different things with a STEM degree. It's like I said, it just depends on what you want to do with your life.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's very helpful. I have another couple of questions, but I first want to turn it over to students who are listening. If you have any questions about the natural sciences, about these subjects that we're talking about, please put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. I usually give everybody a minute while they're thinking and typing.
My question to you is, you said something about working for the government and stuff like that.
Yes.
What exactly, like what kind of career would you be talking about exactly?
Well, one career that I know of for sure, like you can be a policy, write policy, like when governments, need to create regulations or laws, most of the politicians, they're not good scientists. So obviously they'll turn to scientists to come up with answers. For instance, I'm sure most of you know Dr. Fauci. And so when the outbreak came about, the government turned to people like him to say, hey, we should wear masks, stay 6 feet apart, to sort of help prevent the spread of the virus. So, you'll be involved in policy making. The government does research as well. I'm sure you've heard of NIH before, National Institutes of Health. That's a branch of the government. So, they study not only viruses, but they study cancer, other health diseases and things like that. So, the government does hire scientists to do research and also to enact policy as well.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Any other questions?
So before we transition, so Dr. Gimber brought up A&P. So some of you are looking into the health science programs, and so you have to take A&P. So if you're interested in taking A&P in the coming spring, in February, I hold a boot camp just before the start of the semester. So I highly recommend that boot camp because, if I'm to be honest, walking into A&P is like, walking into a battlefield. It's a very intense course. So you need to, get yourself prepared as much as possible. So I definitely recommend the boot camp. I'll put my email address in the chat room. And so if you want more information about that boot camp, you can email me. The school will publicize the boot camp as well. So just FYI, those of you looking to take A&P this coming spring semester.
Thank you. And just to clarify, what does A&P stand for?
Oh, anatomy and physiology.
Anatomy and physiology.
Yeah, SCB 203. SCB 203 is A&P 1. SCB 204 is A&P 2.
Excellent. Thank you for putting that contact info in there.
No problem.
Actually, I have a question, and again, we have time if more students want to think of questions, you can put them in the chat or ask, but this is actually for both of you. I'm wondering, in the situation we're in with distance learning, how has that affected the work that students might be doing, say, if they're coming into college this spring in science classes where some of the work takes place in labs?
It's been a challenge. I'll be honest, this online format is not the most conducive method, especially teaching a content-heavy course like A&P. So I think myself and most of my colleagues would definitely agree that it's definitely been a challenge. But obviously we have to adapt. So hopefully next fall we'll be back in person. But again, that's a big hopefully. But even so, during this format, we've been able to maintain open communication with our students. We post videos, we post, various study guides and things like that to sort of help. We have an extensive study hall for A&P where, students can look at different pictures of models, of anatomical models and things like that. So again, yes, it's been a struggle, but, we're still been able to teach the course. But, like I said before, those of you looking to go into A&P, I highly recommend that you get ready now and start, doing the reading and stuff like that. Again, if you want more questions about it, you can always email me and I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Thank you so much.